You're gross.
Well, it's true though. I needed to get it tweeted. Have you sent it to me? Send me the link.
No, I have to get on there. Give me a second. All you want are links from me, and I'm not a machine.
Are you sure you're not a machine?
No, I'm not sure.
Amanda, how do you know
You
for
don't
sure
have to
you're
bring
not
it
a
up.
Cylon? You could be a machine.
I don't want to
I
have
wouldn't
this
think any
argument
less
with
of
you
you
again.
if you were a machine.
I feel like maybe you. I feel like.
Did you send it to me yet?
Will you calm down? No, I didn't yet. Oh, it still says
Well, no
extra
one's watching.
weekly stream test.
Oh God, can we change that?
XP weekly
Q&A,
Q&A.
questions and ass. Oh, I got it confused with TNA, tits and answers.
Yeah, you did it wrong. Tits and answers. Okay, there you go. Enjoy.
Okay. Let me get this.
Oh, why would you do this, you stupid idiot? Not you.
I assume there's nobody in the chat because nobody knows we're doing it, right?
Correct. Why would anyone? Why would
Correct.
anyone? Correct.
That's so fucking correct.
You're so correct right now.
Okay. Let me
Enough of
get
that.
a good screenshot. Okay.
I gave my best screenshot face.
No, I took one of the stream, so it wasn't. I didn't use your face. Sorry, dude. We're
That was my
live.
best face.
XP Weekly. Come watch. Ask us the tough questions.
Literally anything. Ask me about my car. Ask me about where I'm from. Talk to
Ask me about things I like. The one thing that we have to figure out about YouTube is I think this is all going to be on there. Like we don't know how to edit it unless it's under an hour. You can't really edit it, so we'll have to see.
Well, let's keep it under an hour then.
Okay, we'll have to figure that out for the adventures too. But yes.
Well, that's stupid. Why would you bring logic into this?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think about that?
You didn't. Did
Okay.
you?
D&D Live, and now let's put in a picture to make it sexier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how's your day going, Kate? Let's just fill the chat with some pointless nonsense while we wait for this shit to get set up.
It's good. I'm editing a commercial currently.
Oh,
Yeah. And
how's that going?
It's fine. It's a lot of testimonials that I have to cut down.
Okay.
It's fine.
People were too gushing about the product.
There were just a lot of people for a
Gotcha.
30-second commercial. But that's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine.
It's cool. Is it just like irresponsibly hot down there? Because it's irresponsibly hot up here.
It's
It's
it was
very bad.
about 100 degrees an hour ago. So,
Oof.
yeah.
I was gonna complain, but that's not nearly as bad as it
Yeah.
is up here.
We
Or
win.
that's much worse than it is up here.
It's recklessly hot.
Yeah, you
down
definitely
here.
win.
And there's no rhyme or
Recklessly
reason
is a good word for it.
for
All right, the tweet is live. Well, it's uploading because it's got a picture in there.
fine.
Okay,
Fine.
still uploading.
Wow. Can't wait.
Still uploading.
When
I'm
are we
glad
done?
this is all going to be recorded. There's got to be a way. We have to be able to find a way to edit it
Yeah,
down.
I think we should
because
keep
I don't
it.
want any.
It makes us seem like we're normal
No.
people and not robots. I don't know why you keep bringing
No.
robots up, but
I don't want this on the stream because of my ineptitude. Okay, cool. It is live.
okay. I'm ready.
Is your body ready? That sounded
It's willing.
bad. Gross. That sounded worse.
Yeah.
1 second. I'm gonna mute you. Can you mute yourself? I want to hear what the stream sounds like.
Rude. Fine. I wonder if you guys can actually still hear me.
Okay, you're good. It's yeah, it's good. There's a little bit of a buzz, but you can hear us both pretty well. I'm like just a tiny bit lagged, but
You always are.
the same as before. Yeah, but that's fine. It works. We're good.
All right.
Awesome. Says there's one person watching right now. That person
Probably
could just be me.
Could be me.
It's both of us. Together we are one. Now it says no one is watching. 0 people watching.
Did you leave? Because maybe we don't matter as people.
No, I stayed. I have it here. That way I can talk to people in the chat. Oh, now it says 1 watching.
That's me.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good. Hey, it's Daniel Chan. What's up, Dan?
Yeah. The man, Daniel Chan.
All right.
I like when he's around. He's just
I
so
do
happy.
too. I think of all the Daniel Chans I know,
Yeah.
he's at the very top of the list.
Yeah.
I would say he's my favorite Daniel, but there's a lot of Daniels in play.
Yeah.
That would be.
I know
that
a
would
couple
offend some
Daniels.
other Daniels. Yeah. So I don't want to,
But I mean, it's not impossible. Daniel Chan.
Yeah, he's in the running for sure.
Yeah.
But we haven't announced whether he's the actual greatest Daniel yet.
That'll be next month.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's maybe give it a minute or two, and then we'll get started with these names. Some names to read on our chat.
Let me pull it up. Wait. Excuse my
It's an
camera
email.
maneuver. I have to pull up this thing.
Oh, Kate, come on.
No, you're fine.
Have some professionalism. Oh, it says your Twitter link isn't working, is what Daniel says. That's a problem.
Good. Good.
That's how I got there.
We like that.
Not sure how he found us then.
Probably just went to our YouTube channel, right?
That's working for me.
Daniel.
He said he had to hand type the link. Strange. Worked for me.
Don't like that.
Um,
Yeah, it also worked for me.
maybe it
It's working
doesn't
for
like
me.
Bitly or something. Do we want to try it again without Bitly?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's working too. Here. Are you on
Yeah.
top of it, or do you need me to help you out?
What's that?
Are you on
I got
top? You're, okay.
it. Okay, we'll try it without Bitly. Do.
No, I'm just wondering if Daniel Chan is sabotaging.
It's possible.
Because we didn't name him our favorite. Hey, Brooke, yo!
What up, Brooke? Welcome.
And Yum, yeah!
Yeah, a couple people say that the links.
Maybe
Link's working.
you clicked and it was still loading.
Oh, he clicked on the photo. That's what it was.
Wow.
So the photo is not a link, just the link in the description. Sorry about that, Daniel. Like, I'm sure that was probably a little confusing. Cool. Well, as long as the second tweet's working, that should get people
Cool.
there as well. Awesome. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Yeah, it's going to be a little
Yeah.
bit informal today. We're just going to read some of our names since we didn't have any Junior Adventures League this week, but one of our Patreon rewards is still to read all the names of our $5 and up patrons. We're going to read those names. We're all going to have some conversations, and we're going to talk about what's going on with the Patreon campaign and our D&D campaigns and our personal lives. And Kate and I are going to go back and forth and nod like this a lot. Yeah, maybe a lot of this. But please throw some questions about what's going on in the Patreon campaign or in the Junior Adventures League campaign, or just our personal lives, your personal lives. If you have some dilemma, you got to ask your roommate to move out because they always forget to flush the toilet. You need some advice.
Yeah.
That's like
We're
I
here
majored
for
in
whatever.
college in roommate relations, so
He was the only one.
it was it was a very
Very-
small department. But yeah, just let us know if you have any questions, and we'll get to reading some of these sexy names. Got a bunch of
Yeah.
them here today.
Yeah.
So these are our patrons who donated $5 and above. We have 10 names. Would you like to read some names, Kate? You want to get started?
Yeah. Do you want to go every other, or do you want me to do 5?
Let's do every other. That seems good to me.
Okay. Do you want to read them as fast as we possibly can and see what happens?
That's kind of fun. That way, if someone does hear their name, it's only for a fleeting second. All right, so this is a huge thank you to
Me start?
Go
Juan Moreno,
Tim Laxton,
Adam Pearson,
Kailania,
Elizabeth Martinez,
Elizabeth Ferreira,
and Mason Morales.
Brooks Siegel,
Jonah.
Tony Stark. All right, that's 10. That's 10 of them. Did you catch that? I hope not. Let's do this. These are all the names on there. That way you guys can see. All right. Oh, it looks like we have a question from Brooke
Yeah,
in the
Brooke.
chat. Can you read it, Kate?
Yeah,
What do you
Brooke
got?
asks, are there going to be some more faculty members added / others going on the adventures?
Yes, that's one of the things we'd really like to do in the next season is we want to start introducing guests. They would probably have to be local guests because we are barely on top of our technical issues as it is. The idea of bringing in someone via Skype seems terrifying to us because we're just so technically crappy. But we have a lot of people in our neck of the woods that could easily show up IRL and be a guest. I don't know if we've talked about implementation on that yet, Kate, as far as getting people in there. But I know we have go for it.
Oh, I was just, no, we haven't. But we have talked about having guests and who we might bring in and how we might do that. So, yeah, I do hope that we do that in the next season.
In season 2, yeah. It shouldn't be too hard, just a matter of scheduling. But yeah, the idea then, Brooke, was that they would be either other faculty that we haven't seen yet or faculty we have seen, or they could be other students that get assigned to the Junior Adventurers League. You could have like a rotating 5th spot. That's always somebody new and exciting, which I think would be very cool. We have a few people that we know for sure will do it and a couple of bigger asks that we're like, hey, you want to come be on our show? But we would definitely want to get our technical issues ironed out before we do that. But the last couple times that we've done it, it's been pretty smooth comparatively. So I think we are hopefully looking at a new horizon, a new dawn for the Junior Adventurers League.
Adventurers League. Dawn of the planet of the Junior Adventurers League.
Dawn of the war of the age of the planet of the Adventurers League.
Continued.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Continued. Part 2. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, great question. So let's talk about that maybe a little bit, about what's going on with the campaign going forward with Junior Adventurers League. So yeah, do you want to talk about it, Kate, or do you want me to talk about it?
Well, I'll start talking about it, and then you just buzz me when I am in a topic that I should not be talking about.
Okay, cool.
So the Junior Adventures are now 1 level higher, so we'll be 3rd level starting next Sunday.
Maybe.
Ish?
We'll see.
Can't remember.
Yeah, next month for sure.
Yeah. We gotta figure out. We gotta figure out.
Already,
the day we're
already
starting.
crossed over the line.
What is that, like, catchphrase where you have that buzzer where you have to stop people?
Yeah, maybe. I forget if it's. Is it
matter.
taboo that if you say the word, you hit the? I think it's taboo.
Probably, yeah.
90s board game fans in the chat, let us know if we're getting that right. Or wrong.
Bop it in there.
Bop it.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So they'll be 3rd level, and that'll be pretty interesting. Val will still not be an appropriate age for anything, so you gotta wait a while for that one.
It's interesting to me how upset she is about that. I think like Heather is like honestly personally a little mad that we're cock blocking her just for reasons of censorship. Like she sent us things on Twitter before, they're like, look at this. Aang and Katara are kissing an Avatar. They're only 13 and 15. Right. No, Heather. You weird perv.
Still weird.
No.
Yes.
Go ahead.
We're going to be starting a new system for the Junior Adventures. We're kind of instigating a system of patches for them to earn. And a certain level of, like, a number of patches and stuff will kind of dictate when they level and so on. And different things get them different patches. And it's like a collecting game, kind of like traditionally how Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or something would work.
We had our lovely volunteer graphic designer design a whole mess of patches. She kind of broke her back working on it. We feel bad that we sort of casually mentioned if you want to design some of these patches, that'd be really cool. Then we didn't hear from her for 2 months, and then she sent us this huge email here, I did them. Are you happy? We're like, oh, they're beautiful. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were working on them. But they're gorgeous, and we will premiere them soon to show you what they look like. But yeah, the idea is that there's a pool of patches, and that every time they earn X amount of them, we haven't exactly figured out how many. We were talking 5 out of 20. Then they can level again. So they might level quickly originally, but then once they don't know how to earn the patches. Basically, it's this is the patch for, the athleticism patch. And that seems pretty obvious as to what that would be. But there are some of them that are a little more obscure, and the more they adventure, they might uncover some patches or unlock some patches without realizing it. And we'll just see how that goes. We wanted to have a little bit more of a dynamic leveling thing as opposed to me just arbitrarily saying okay, now you're 3rd level. Yeah. So we weren't really doing XP, despite how on brand. Extremely on brand.
Oh, you've been censored.
Oh yeah, there was a car. There's a very angry car outside my apartment that gave me the buzz.
It's one of our viewers, and they're so mad.
They drove here
to
harass me outside my window. They've been standing out there for a couple of days, actually. The big boom box.
It's creepy, guys.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for Junior Adventurers League. Speaking of Junior Adventurers League, there's one thing we wanted to announce right here on this very stream. We are doing, ready for this? Another donation drive. People are going crazy right now. No, no one's that excited. We scheduled an update on the Patreon. You can go and check that out. I will actually maybe link you guys in the chat. But this one is a little different than the last one that we did, whereas the last one was for an episode of The Duke's Men, which is kind of the mini-series that we're running right now while we fund Season 2. This one is for a lost secret episode of the Junior Adventurers League. So the way this works, if you didn't participate last time or are not familiar with our donation drives, any one of our patrons who increases their donation by $1 or anyone who becomes a new patron in the next week basically gets access to this very secret exclusive prize. Kate, do you want to talk a little bit about what that prize is while I pull up the link?
Yeah, so last Sunday we all got together at midnight and we wore cloaks and we recorded a secret episode, the 8th episode of the Junior Adventurers League, and we are keeping it secret and private for this donation drive, and some pretty big things happened.
Oh yeah,
in that episode. None
of it is like canon concerning, so if you're unable to donate, don't worry about that, but like it will probably be cool to see references to it going forward.
Yeah, there's some stuff we're going to talk about again.
Because it was pretty dramatic, particularly towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers.
Stuff happened. Yeah, so we all swore an oath. We all drew blood and, like, you know, pooled it together in a cup and wrote on each other. Yes. You'll get to see all of that. And maybe none of that in the secret.
You will actually not see any of those things. Kate is talking entirely out of her butt. Here's the link to the post. Check it out if you have not checked it out already. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's called The Lost Episode, or Time Out, I believe is the actual title, episode 8. It features time travel and Modrons. And yeah, I think probably our most dramatic ending to date. And we've had a couple of dramatic endings, even in just the first season. If you haven't seen the Ogre episode, I recommend you go watch that one. That has the darkest ending, I think, to any adventure in the Junior Adventurers League so far. And we've had some dark ones.
Yikes.
Very dark ones.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about running the show is the confluence of the silly, childlike adventure with the very dark, grim reality of D&D, where it is not a world of bunnies and rainbows, despite you know how your characters are basically that age. The stakes are all still very high and very real.
Too real.
A little too real. Yeah, absolutely. So that's our donation drive. That's going to run for a week. If you are a patron and you're interested in that adventure, feel free to just bump that donation up $1. Just $1. That's all we're asking. That's all you got to do. But if you were on the fence about being a patron, go ahead and hop on over there and check it out. I think everybody in the chat right now is a patron, but you may be watching this later on YouTube if you don't have time to check it out. So who knows? Awesome. Our last time was a huge success, so we're hoping to have another successful run in our donation drive this time.
Yes.
Cool. All right. I think we got one more thing we wanted to talk about before we do some more names, some more of those sexy names. We just wanted to have a little breakdown about how the Patreon's been going so far. Kate and I were going to talk about it and get real and how we think it's going and what's going on. Kate, what are your feelings on the Patreon so far?
You know what? I feel pretty proud of our patron squad, first off. I feel like everyone has like really I wanted to say overstepped up their game, but then that almost sounds negative.
Overstepped? They've gone too far.
Up their game.
Is this mean?
But yeah, everyone has gone above and beyond, and I just wish there was a way to get out to more new people and you know, see if they're interested in helping. But
one thing that always surprises me, you're talking about the patron squad going above and beyond.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the fact that like there are so many choices that people in the D&D community have for like where they can spend their time and their money and their attention. And the fact that we have the same small handful of people that comes back to us every single time, despite all of our garbage and all of our low budget. Yeah, absolutely. There's not many of you that are always here every time, but there's a couple of you. Several of you are in the chat right now, and it just makes my heart warm.
Yeah.
Just right here.
Just
my
feels
gooey,
special.
cream-filled center just gets all goopy inside. Think about that. No, but from an objective standpoint, we got a long way to go yet before we're there. We always kind of knew it was going to be a long shot because we don't have the largest audience of anybody. But we're climbing at actually a rate that I thought was faster than we would. We're at about I sort of hoped that we could get into the 300 a month area by about 6 months. That would be cool, but we got there a little bit before. So as far as I'm concerned, we're doing better than I'd kind of projected, considering the size of our fan base and all that stuff. The big challenge now, as Kate pointed out, is going to be to try to climb even a little bit higher than that. Like if we can get into the 350, 400 range, I would feel real comfortable hanging out there. So it's just going to be a matter of, we have some plans to reach out to some more people on Twitter and to engage in the way that we did way back in the day when we first getting started. We had like a really big kind of follower push. So we're going to try to do something similar, get some more eyes on the project. And yeah, anything that if you guys are all tapped out financially, which we understand, as I said, there's lots of different things you can give to. There's lots of other ways you can help spread the word, retweets and mentions on Facebook, and telling your party about it, telling your friends, telling your enemies. That old joke. But yeah, so the bottom line is that we super appreciate the work and energy that you guys have put into helping us out. We can only give us so much of our day and so much of our week because we have our regular lives, but it's awesome to see you guys carrying the torch when we can. Anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we like doing it, so it's nice that you guys like that we do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, feel free to send us any more questions that you have in the chat. Let us know. We'll be sure to answer them. Otherwise, we're just hanging out today, man. We're just hanging out. There's not a lot of pressure on this particular chat. There is a lot of heat pressure because it's very hot where I am. I don't know if it's Kate was discussing this earlier.
It's like 100 degrees here. Angeles. Like not exaggerating. It's reading 100 degrees outside.
Gross.
So that's great.
I don't know if we have any fans in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, but apparently it is like record hot out there, like 120, something real bad.
No.
So try to beat the heat, folks. It's very hard here. I'm not wearing any pants, so I hope that is it's impossible. The fact that I'm wearing this sweater.
I was gonna say alive. Why do that? You can do your summer DM look. Like that's okay. Summer
guess if I have to stand up, this sweater is long enough that you won't notice that I'm not wearing pants. The t-shirt is not long enough, so
gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. That's out there now.
All right. Well, I too am not wearing pants, but I have a dress on, so it's socially acceptable.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. We have a couple questions. Daniel Chan asks, will the Junior Adventurers League be simply without a chaperone, or will they be kids wandering in the wild? I think we haven't really done an official no chaperone episode. Ironically, the Lost episode is kind of accidentally a no chaperone episode just because of the events that happened. So if you are interested to check that one out. I think I do have a plan for them farther down the line. We'd talked about doing a reunion adventure at some point much further in the future where we come back to the characters when they're like 10th level and adults and a real adventuring party out there in the world and see what that's like. But I do think that the last arc that we do with them, the last season, I feel like is going to be them on their own. It's kind of basically the owls for Harry Potter, right? Like the final exams to see how they do as a real adventuring party. So it may happen intermittently now and again, just when a chaperone gets knocked unconscious or thrown off a cliff or something like that, as happens more than you might expect. But I think we're going to get like a long, like 8 to 10 episode arc towards the end of them. Just like, all right, you're on your own now. No big NPC to come and save you. Yeah, absolutely. No pants is still the hoodie, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Brooke. I'm dying a little bit, but it's nice to have no pants on because it's just kind of airing it out. I live like 3 floors up though, so it's much hotter in my apartment than it is in the real world outside. Yeah. How you doing, Kate?
I have central AC, so I'm okay.
I don't. They don't have that in Seattle because it's not supposed to get this hot here.
Okay.
We have a fan that I have to go grab from the closet. But this has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. So.
No, irrelevant. Cool.
Totally irrelevant.
Good.
Do you want to read some names, Catherine?
Yeah, I do.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it.
Same
All right,
thing?
so we have another 10. We're going to read. Yeah, we're going to alternate. This time, I'm going to go first. So we did super fast last time. Let's be unfair and give these guys extra low. Let's do it really, really slow and really overpronounce the names.
Okay.
So I'll start because you started last time. That's cool.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Ashley Rice.
Lito.
Ronald E. Smith.
Oh.
Oh, Kate, come on.
That was a Minnesota O for
Oh.
Hi. We've never actually had to pronounce these correctly, so now I'm
that's the problem.
I don't know if I can. No offense. I'm so sorry.
A huge thank you to my good friend and Kate's real-life cousin, the Sandman King.
Anton Svensson.
My heart goes out. Big thanks, big ups to our good friend in the chat with us right now, Daniel Chan.
Thank you to Philip Villarreal.
You got it.
I got
huge
that.
Thanks. Couldn't do it without you. Big ups to Ed Cuckoo Mr. Robinson.
All right. Well, even bigger ups to Pavel Kovalenko.
Kovalenko, got it. And lastly, our good friend, Sildari himself, Ryan Davis. You heard it here first, Ryan Davis. Thanks, everybody.
Here last.
Oh, hey, welcome, Lex. I did not see you jump in there, Mr. Lex Mandrake. Lex is a new patron of ours. Hey, Lex. He has a great question. How do you guys feel about the upcoming Tomb of Annihilation and Janithar's Guide to Everything books? How do you feel about those things, Kate?
Literally anything with the word annihilation, I'm all about.
She's in there.
I feel pretty 2 thumbs up about it.
Big ups to Tomb of Annihilation. I'm very excited personally because it's Chris Perkins. He's my jam. I'm really happy that he's moved into a position for the Tomb of Annihilation. I mean, where he's basically writing the vast majority of their adventures because he's the best adventure writer that they have, hands down. No, I think it's going to be cool. I don't play an FR very much, so I'm not sure if I will use the adventure myself. But I know that a friend of mine in my current pirate game is looking to run a campaign. Once my pirate game is done, he was circling the Tomb of Annihilation. So as much as I would like to read it, I probably won't read it because I still want to be able to play it and keep a pretty cool head. You would probably dig it, Kate, if you haven't heard too much about it. It's very Indiana Jones inspired. It's like set in this particularly jungly region. There's a lot of dinosaurs and undead killer dungeons and traps and things. So you'd probably get a kick out of Tomb of Annihilation. It's pretty cool. As far as Janithar's Guide to Everything, that also looks really cool. I don't know how much of that stuff is just going to be reprinted on Unearthed Arcana, who knows? But I'm curious about it. I'm sure, once again, my friend who's a big Wizards fan in my other game is going to read it and tell me everything about it in a long string without ever taking a breath. So I'd be like, did you read Janithar's Guide to Everything? Then he'll just talk about it for like 15 minutes and I'll hear the whole thing. But if you guys get a hold of it, let me know because I'm curious how much of that is just going to be Unearthed Arcana reprint, which I thought was cool, but I'm just, sorry that you're not super up on the lingo, Catherine, but that's okay.
I'm just not as into Arcana Cana either. So.
Arcana Cana Kona.
Yeah.
There you go. You got it. Awesome. Yeah, keep those questions rolling, guys. We'd love to answer them. We'd love to just hang out with our peeps.
I just want to lay on our stomachs and kick our feet back and forth and just talk about life and stuff.
Yeah, talk about boys and dungeons. With the phone cord, right? Like that old phone cord that just wraps
someone else comes on and you have to quick talk about social studies instead, and then you hear them click off and you're like,
I was oops. Funny. So speaking of which, this is a question for you guys in the chat. Tell us about what's going on in your campaigns right now. We were going to talk about our campaigns. Kate just ran an adventure. I've got an ongoing game. You're just going to chat about a little Dungeons & Dragons. What's going on? If you guys have a fun story from your campaign you want to share with us, please let us know, and we will comment on how cool it is and how much we wish we were in your campaign too. Catherine, do you want to talk about what you did a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, so I ran my second one-shot with a group of ladies, and it was all their first times playing, so that was a lot of fun. It was called A Wild Sheep Chase was the adventure that I used, which is basically just a sheep runs up to you who's this wizard who's been polymorphed, and you have to help him, or you don't. But normally people try,
or you don't.
Try to.
But if you don't, it's not really an adventure.
I guess maybe a little meta, but probably maybe do. But it was interesting. They, I don't know. It was fun watching them talk forever about planning and then knowing that the things they're planning are gonna screw up right away because of X, Y, and Z. And yeah, hearing them argue all stakes and stuff.
They were all complete noobs, right?
All of them.
Never played before.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was so great. And they got so excited. Especially one of them has been wanting to play for a really long time. The others, have been excited about it, but not as familiar. So the one who it was her first time playing, she was all about it, and everything she would do, she'd look and be like, "Can we do this?" It was just really great. It was a lot of fun playing with it. And then it made me feel a little bit better because I'm newer to DMing and don't know as much about what I'm doing. But it was nice to have them be so excited, so then I felt more comfortable.
Yeah, that's always a great moment when they have that realization. Do anything, that there aren't a prescribed set of actions. They're you get some players that are kind of locked to the character sheet where they're like, well, I don't have, it doesn't say that on here, I can't do that. But you get the other players that are the opposite, well, wait, why would we even do this? Why would we go on this adventure? I don't want to do that. They realize that they have all possible options and opportunities.
Yeah.
They go a little bonkers. Yeah.
There's
go ahead.
There's a wolf moment. There's these wolves that are at one point chasing them, and so they all are dog owners and had to have the choice of do we just try and lose these wolves, or eventually they ended up attacking them and then killing them. So you make certain sound effects and stuff, and it was really the first time they killed stuff, the stakes were super high. They got really attached to this other NPC that they're supposed to be fighting, and then they charmed him, and then they turned on him later and had to kill him, and it's so it was interesting watching them process the stakes of for the first time as characters murdering.
Yeah, they don't have that jaded adventure whatever, we'll just kill him and it won't ultimately matter, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal, oh my god, we killed a guy, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Didn't you say also that they were very over cooperative? That most parties that I know has a lot of backstabbing and they're kind of scheming. Yeah, I'm gonna hide this piece of information from the rest of the party. Didn't you say that in this entirely all girl, all newbie party, they're just very positive? I remember you describing that.
Yeah, one of them literally in combat, she arrived late and she took she's I'm gonna take can I say to them something? And I was yeah, you can take a free action and say something. She's I'm gonna take a free action and say, we got this, guys, we can do it. It was literally her free action. It's so positive. They tried to have a combat-free episode, and that didn't last. And they were trying everything they could to just be accommodating and super nice to everybody they encountered. I was oh, bless. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Are you gonna play with those guys again, do you think?
Well, we have to finish the adventure. We had a hard out.
Oh, that's right.
So they are at kind of the final stage, and this Wednesday or Thursday we're going to be finishing the final scenario, whether that's a battle or the talk or whatever they end up rolling on.
Yeah, right. Who knows? It sounds like they'll probably just all sit down and discuss why they gonna have a therapy session where they're gonna well, when you try to kidnap that guy, it just really, I don't know, that's not cool, man.
Yeah, Erica will just conjure up some good berries and offer them up as a snack for people or something. I don't know.
Goodberry, I think, comes up a lot as a newbie player. Wait, I can make all food in one berry? I'm in. They get really, I've seen a lot of players get really obsessed with Goodberry. Yeah. Anybody who watches the C team on Penny Arcade knows that Goodberry gets a lot of play. That's cool, man. Yeah. I'm happy to hear you're having a good time being a DM. What's that like?
Yeah, it's a little stressful. I still don't know a lot of what I'm doing, and there's they'll ask me things to be cool, let me check.
Oh, God.
But sure it all comes in time. I keep defaulting to 4th edition, so I'll be like, roll me a diplomacy, and they're like, that's not on here, and I'm like, you're right, it's not. So persuasion then. God damn it.
I think the other thing you have a big advantage in too, though, is that like none of them have played before, so you're not going to get like a rules lawyer saying like that's not how. Like they have no idea. You are the gateway through which they experience all the rules.
I'm never going to play with players who have played before ever again. Only ever newbies.
Yeah. Never.
Never again. Ever.
Only virgins from now on. Yeah. Ridiculous. Yes, Brooke Siegel. They will sing Kumbaya
and play the.
That's what I was.
Oboe Shanaten.
And the ukulele too, and then make a YouTube video of them playing the ukulele and upload it to their channel.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Talk to us about 17 Seas.
Oh, well, I will. In the complete opposite vein, my party is full of schemers and backstabbers. I'm currently running I was going to ask, do you want to find the link on Reddit that you found to the adventure? Because I'm going to post it in the chat if people want to. Yes. If they like the cut of that adventure's jib, then they could run it themselves. I like to say jib.
Stop.
Pirate.
No.
So I'm currently running a pirate game in 5th edition in a homebrew world. You guys have seen a few adventures, or might have seen a few adventures I've run in this setting. There's one on our YouTube channel called Swine Before Pearls that's set in this setting. I did a few with the guys that Encounter Roleplay as well. But yeah, it's just very swashbucklery, piratical, lots of islands, sailing around. Our trusty adventurers are pirates on board a big kitted out warship that they've spent a lot of time getting. And most recently, they had just spent a long quest off in the north, dealing with some frost giants and some scary undead that kind of Game of Thrones style lived way up in the north. And so they've just come back in my most recent session to their pirate crew and sort of a lawless port. And they're getting involved in some shenanigans there. Currently, they're involved with the treasure map. They have this treasure map. Of course they do, because they're pirates. That's going to lead them to a huge legendary treasure, kind of treasure island style of this very fearsome pirate captain.
Yeah.
And one of their NPC crew, sort of the best friend of the party's rogue, was just caught attempting to, had stolen the map from underneath the NPC captain and was just caught trying to sell a forged copy of it to another pirate captain. And so now there's a lot of scheming about who did he tell and who was in on the plot and what are they going to do about it and how do they punish him and does the crew know and the morale of the rest of the crew, and there's a lot of backstabbing and skullduggery and stuff like that. But this is the party has been like this since we started. It's just constantly been a matter of wait, you weren't in the room when we had this conversation, so you don't actually know that she thinks this about you. I don't think I roll an insight. Yeah, well, you failed. Okay, you're convinced that she likes you a lot. It's tons of manipulating and scheming. There's a room on the ship. They have this magical ship that has some extra dimensional space on it. They have made a room that's a soundproof extra dimensional room aboard their ship that they just called the scheming room. And the joke is that everybody goes in there and they wear dark hoods and have the lights really low and they plot. Okay, we're gonna tell the crew this. What we're really gonna do is that. It's very, very Machiavellian. And it's this thing where I'll prepare, I think this is about 3 hours of gameplay, and we really only get through 45 minutes of what I'd prepared because they spend 2 hours and 15 minutes just scheming and making up their own content. And that's great. It's like a dungeon master's dream, but my story though, I get very concerned at a certain point. I'm okay, I'm glad that we're all having a good time, but there's a larger world. So I have to constantly tell myself step back. If they're having fun, then they're doing what they want to do. But yeah, that's cool. I have a fun adventure planned. Actually, you know what's funny? I didn't think about the connection here. There might be a few of you who have been backers since the very beginning. That one shot that I ran for the XP crew, Island of Opportunity, they're actually on that same island right now. And they just met. I basically reskinned Meepo, was the kobold you guys met, and he's now following them around and being their awkward guide. Their treasure map tells them they have to go seek the peak on this island, so they're about to head up onto the ship where the genie still is. I haven't officially decided what the canon is. Is this before you guys, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards, or is it after the XP party? I don't really know, but they're on that same island. They're on Leviathan Rest right now. I didn't think about that connection. Yeah, that's where they are.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool. It's going to be interesting to see how they play it out. I have a bunch of silly kobold stuff planned for them because they have to cross the swamps. that if you remember in that adventure, the party was flying on their magic carpet and almost got swatted by a kobold catapult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're on that same island right now.
That's
which is pretty
cool.
crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
And also a funny connection, Swine Before Pearls is basically a wild sheep chase, but different.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
Very similar because it involves a polymorphed pig.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Daniel Chan was talking about his campaign. I was in a one-shot yesterday with 4 others. I had my level 5 rogue, though the DM was planning everyone to be level 1. I finally agreed all to be level 5. Yeah, that seems like kind of a power imbalance. After Barrack of Guards, Giant Mushrooms of Madness, Giant Spider of Darkness, and a terrifying boss we have yet to fight that we can't believe we were expected to go into level 1. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It sounds like an Underdark adventure from the description of it, with the Giant Mushrooms of Madness and the Giant Spider of Darkness. Maybe Out of the Abyss? I know that starts in a prison. But that sounds crazy. Daniel, is this your tiefling character? Because I know you have a tiefling, or 2 tieflings, unless I'm mistaken, that you're currently playing. You mentioned in our Patreon post. So let us know, because it sounds pretty rocky. Oh yeah, Brooke Siegel, you broke my heart. Last time I talked to you on Twitter, you had said that you've never played a D&D before, and that just, my heart. That's not totally unfair. Kate and I had a conversation the other day about how we're maybe going to try to set up some kind of a D&D light experience for some of our patrons. So stay tuned. It was actually specifically based on our conversation on Twitter. I talked to Kate, I'm like, hey, so Brooke told me she's never played D&D before, and I just don't know what to do with that information.
We were so sad.
Yeah, so we'll figure something out for you, Brooke. Don't worry. But you're trying to catch up on Critical Role, is that correct? I have not started it. I feel terrible, but it's just there's not a good entry point. For you Critical Role fans, can you let me know if there's a good episode I can jump into besides the first one? Because I had a tough time with that first episode. Is there a good entry point for a new fan who wants to watch it who doesn't know? Let me know.
Yeah.
And we'll do it.
Yeah. Brooke, do you live in LA? Because I know a DM that likes DMing for people who have never played before.
Specifically, that's your thing, right?
I mean,
I like the idea that you're just like a one-time only, like it's like you'll never with anyone else ever again. It's like one experience, and then that's all they have to remember you by.
Come experience.
The
my DMing. And never call me again.
Experience.
I don't want the pressure of it.
Yeah. Daniel said it was Underdark, a module. I never played it before. It sounds like Out of the Abyss, but I could be wrong. I do remember Out of the Abyss seeming very daunting up front because you start in a prison, right? And you have no weapons. You played a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Is that right, Kate?
Yeah. It's already kind of like, oh God, what do I even do?
Jesus.
How do I
when you guys played it, did you have like 900 NPCs in the jail cell with you? Because that's the way it's
had like 6 or so. We had
so
a lot
many
of NPCs that we had to kind of just shuffle along with, and I'm like, can I throw you guys at the oncoming enemies?
Right. And the idea of being lots of wacky prisoners in that jail is cool, but like I remember being like, as a DM, I'm like, I will never run this. And if I do run this, I'm gonna cut this down. This is too many. Like I get bored of the one DMPC I have in the pirate campaign, their captain. I'm like, oh shit, he's in the room. Okay, well, he says this. I don't know. Leave me alone. Oh no, Brooke Siegel is in Ohio. That's too bad. If she was in LA, you would be more than welcome to come and play.
If only I spent a summer in Ohio.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I have a lot of different silly voices in my campaign, in the pirate campaign. And last session, the captain and the traitorous quartermaster were arguing, and their accents were just slightly different. And it got a little rocky. Because one of them got kind of, listen, hey, he's a deal. He's got this sort of an accent. He's like Cockney guy, but he's kind of shifty. And the captain has the pirates. We're going from this to that the whole time. It was just, it was bad. It was getting a lot of cross messages and squinting. Yeah, it was dumb.
You also tend to play a lot of like NPCs that are very out of breath.
Oh, always. Yeah, lots of breathlessness. Because a lot of like prisoners and stuff. So you get a lot of like, we're so glad that you came to
It's like exhausting to watch. I'm like,
and then I get dizzy. I'm like, oh, I have to sit down. Hold on. This is bad. Yeah. Too many breathless characters in the same scenes. Cool. Well, that's sort of the campaign discussion. That was a nice talk about that. We have 2 more little things we're going to cover, and then a couple more names, and then we're going to let you guys go. Well, actually, you're free to go whenever you'd like. But please don't leave me. So we wanted to talk a little bit about Season 2 for XP. We haven't really dished on this a whole lot. we're going to try to be as sort of spoiler light as we possibly can because we don't want to give anything away. But we did just want to, for those of you who were fortunate and kind enough to come out to this chat, give you a little bit. If you have some questions about season 2 or what's going on, let us know. We may have to plead the fifth on a few of them. But I don't know if you want to talk more about the technical side of it, Kate, and I can talk more about the story. Like, how do you want to break this down?
Well, on the technical side, some of that still kind of depends on where the script goes, but we have a lot of like shot composition things that we're doing that I'm excited about because it kind of like subconsciously lends to Alan's mindset, which is really cool, but also super vague and something that's probably better to talk about when it's done.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. You maybe want to talk about how the difference thematically between the first and the second season. Like, don't necessarily go into too much of the plot, but there is kind of a major shift that I don't think is a huge spoiler to talk about. You want to talk about that?
Sure. In my most recent update this last week, some of you who are paid... No, that's for all of the... Yeah, $1 and above. So all of you patrons hopefully read or saw or whatever. It's out there. It's about Alan's character and his kind of character design. But I mentioned in there that, like... his character is sort of more behind the scenes in the actual show. He interjects with stuff, but he's very like, he watches, and it's we never go behind the screen, so we never see what his world is like, and he's very much sort of I don't want to say an accessory because I don't think that that's fair, but like on the outside feels like an accessory, but is very much the main tentpole of the campaign.
He's almost a 2-dimensional character rather than a 3-dimensional character, right? Like he's not fully fleshed out.
Yeah, so in the shift from season 1 to season 2, the focus is now kind of almost entirely on Alan and what he's going through in his transition, and we're planning on probably going behind the screen more and shooting more from his perspective and keeping the audience tighter to Alan and further from the other characters in a sense. So we have a lot of angles and things that we're playing with.
Right, and that's factoring a little bit in the way that I write it, too, that one of the things we talked about in the first season, you remember those flashbacks, one of our sort of more fun sections of the first season. Those are all sort of, in the first season, presented as earlier points in that campaign of things that happened before. In the second season, since we're kind of more in Alan's mind, and as you might be able to glean from those of you who have read the script samples I've been sending every other week, every other Wednesday, it's the start of a new campaign. Since we don't have the previous sessions to fall back on, what we are using for flashbacks are basically previous campaigns that Alan has run. So it's kind of him seeing things happen at the table and that reminding him of sessions that he's played before with different groups and lots of other players, lots of other situations.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like being a little more psychological from his perspective rather than being like the players looking in on the campaign. It's the DM looking out onto the players.
Right.
Which I think is kind of cool.
I think it'll show like a cool amount of history, but then also like relate to people on different levels of how they've played, like if it's, I don't know, as kids or in a shop somewhere or in a park or, certain big events that have happened or the first time that you had like a TPK or something like that, just, we're not entirely sure what our flashbacks are going to be, but we want them to resonate with people on all sorts of levels since we're not branching out with, too many, it's not a different group every episode, it's the same group, but at least we can like bring in past experiences that people can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a question from Lex in the chat who asked, is there a projected release date for season 2? I assume that's a ways off. Do you want to talk about that, Kate?
Yeah, we are still hoping to film in February of 2018. And then we'll probably end up releasing kind of the same how we did with season 1, where it's in that summer every week. I think we started in like June or July, depending on how quickly I can edit and how much I'm locked into a room to do so.
I do remember when we did the first season, we had shot everything. We took like a month or something off, and then like April, you're like, here's the first 6 episodes. You just like sat down and did them. It was very quick. Right? Well, not that you would do that again, but it was just like you had all this free time, and it was like here, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not working, I can just like I can whip out an episode probably every 2 to 3 days, at least the first cut of them. But I mean, most of the time, it just takes. I have a lot of sound I have to sync, and it's just organizing the footage takes a third of the time. So it just that's a bulk.
But we're looking at shooting beginning of next year and releasing next summer, so basically a year from now, which is a long way off, guys. Like, we get that. That's why we're kind of trying to release content in the meantime.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the downside of the way that we do business, is that, like, because it's so much more polished and so much more like prepared, the season, I mean, not necessarily Junior Adventures League, it just takes longer because you got to fundraise for it and you got to do all this, and we're such a small group with not a lot of money, that it just takes a while to get the funds we need to pay for equipment and to hire professionals and make it look pretty. Like, it's just, if you do narrative long form like this, it just takes longer. It's unfortunate case. But then it gives us all this extra time to hang out with you guys.
And play Junior AL and mispronounce your names and stuff.
Yeah, come on, guys. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about what the second season is about on a more plot level. We talk a little bit about the themes, and that kind of ties together. So for those of you who are following The Duke's Men, which is our mini-series that we did our first donation drive about, you kind of saw the beginning of the bridge in between seasons 1 and 2. Season 2 sees Alan, for a number of reasons, basically moving out of Los Angeles, where the first season is taking place, and moving back home to the Midwest, where his parents are. And sort of his life is kind of in transit right now, and he's not 100% sure where he's going to end up or what he's going to be doing. And so it's him basically attempting to, I guess, buzz me if I go too far, Kate, attempting to, like, start a new campaign kind of back in his hometown with some people that he used to know when he was back there, some new people, and it's basically a new cast and a new campaign. Still set in the same world, ostensibly, as the first season, but it's a very, very far away. So functionally kind of a different setting with a very different tone. And like Kate mentioned before, it's very much from the perspective of the Dungeon Master. And so it's kind of the opposite version, like the negative version of the first season. From a storytelling standpoint, it was fun to come up with, okay, we've seen sort of the four main D&D archetypes, right? We've seen the Watcher and the Instigator and the Actor and the Slayer. But what are some other D&D archetypes? What are some other player types we didn't get a chance to explore? Who are these new characters? So for those of you who are reading the script excerpts, you might get a little hint of this character's kind of like this, or it's this thing. They're very much inspired by the current Pirate game that I'm running as far as the different player types, but the campaign is very different. So don't go in there expecting swashbuckling, because you won't find it. There's none to be had. That's not true. Just the whole swashbuckling. Yeah, so it should be interesting. I don't want to reveal any plot stuff. Can I give them one little taste, just a little sample?
Type it to me.
Okay, I just wanted to give them the title of his campaign that he's running. Yeah, is that cool?
Sure.
Is it okay? Come on, Kate.
That's
what does chat think? Does chat think I should be able to say that?
That's rude.
I'm just going to pressure you. I mean, I don't think it's a huge spoiler, right? It doesn't mean anything. No one's going to be like, what? His campaign is entitled Atham Hotep, is the title of it. So that should give you a little taste for what kind of campaign it's going to run. It's different, too, in that it is not a session in the middle of their campaign. It is the first episode. It's the first session of their campaign. So that really changes a lot of things. There's an implication that the people that are coming together are strangers and don't know each other very well, or some of them know each other, but they don't all have that interrelationship that we saw in the first season. So there's a lot of, like, awkward, how do I play? Well, you like to play that way? Oh, is that how you do it? Oh, okay, that's not how we do it. Like, kind of trying to mesh play styles. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to go too much farther, but that's kind of the tone.
Lex mentioned that it's interesting that we want to mix up the cast. I feel like you only just get to know the players from watching season 1. Cool idea, though. I mean, the point also for XP, apart from being from us trying to script something authentically as gameplay, is to also represent as many different types of the D&D gameplay as we possibly can, whether it's from, like, all of, again, the archetypes that you show in season 1 and how the DM interacts, to what it's like moving somewhere and, like, starting a new campaign with these new players who also have their own different traits. So, like, anything that we put into the characters of the show, or anything that we do, is us drawing on experience, even with our flashbacks, to try and bring you, hopefully, things that you can really relate to. Not all of these things would happen in just a single group or campaign or something, but we're trying to put as many in there as possible for you to relate to be like, that's happened to me, or I've done that, or, you know.
And that's another thing too, is that, like, because we're kind of in the same space as an actual play, but we're not really an actual play, we want to try to find ways, things that we could do that an actual play can't feasibly do. So in Critical Role, for example, you can have players come and go, but you generally have the same people there day in and day out. One thing that we have that gives us a little more flexibility is we can say, hey, it's a completely different setting. It's a completely different campaign. They're completely different players. As long as it has some narrative tie, that gives us a little bit more flexibility in the way that like a show like, Critical Role or C-Team or Dice Camera Action can't do as nimbly. So you're right. It's a risk for sure, because I feel like we did just get to know those characters. And I know that there's a contingent of our fan base that is very fervently curious about what happened to the rest of Nightspear. But you will find out. There's some things that are in the works. You're gonna get a taste of it. But for us, it seemed like a bolder, stronger move to jump parties and jump forward in the timeline a little bit. Because like Kate said, I think that there was a limited number of stories we could have told with that group in that campaign again. And we kind of picked the best, most dynamic session of Nightspear, and I don't really know beyond just continuing it, which I just as a writer didn't find as exciting as new characters and new setting. We wanted to get more people's experiences and more ways to identify with it than just those four.
Right. Our tagline has always been about real people playing real D&D. So the more real people we can get in there playing real D&D.
Which is funny because it's all scripted and fake. Like I always thought that was a funny thing to call it. Right. But that, you could say it's not. It's kind of the opposite. That it's too polished for it to be real people. But I think that's the. It was try to avoid stereotypes. Right. That's why we wrote it. We didn't want to have it be, I cast magic missile, like that fucking stereotype that's poisonous. Cool, awesome. So that's your little scrumptious taste of season 2. Think about that. It's just delicious. So I have one more little thing I wanted to talk to the chat about, and then we can read our last few names and call it good. So at 5:30, in 30 minutes from now, we normally send out a tweet that is an adventure hook. There's a big loud car. Sorry, folks. We normally send out a tweet that is an adventure hook for DMs in their campaigns that they can use if they want. I have not written today's adventure hook because I thought I'm lazy, and what if the chat could do my work for me?
He's always saying that. Like when it's pizza time, he's like, I don't want to make this pizza. Can chat just do it?
Can chat make my pizza for me?
So annoying.
Can chat call and order it? So I was going to make an adventure hook. If you guys haven't seen these, they're on our Twitter account. You can follow. You can do #RPG hook. I'm sure you can find one of them. They're basically an idea that you can distill down into a single tweet that a DM might use for their adventure. I think yesterday's one was a dangerous monster, a bullet, a manticore, or a chimera escapes from a local menagerie and is running amok in the city. So it's just like a little taste, little scrumptious morsel. So I usually give myself a morsel to start with. Today I got a location and I got a city. So we just did a city one, but if you guys can think of something interesting with a city, it could be past or present. It could be you just basically start to brainstorm some ideas. Is this something that happened a long time ago in this city? Is this something that is happening currently? Is this like a weird effect about this city? Is it magical? Is it mundane? What do you think, Kay? What would be an interesting idea? /chat. Feel free to jump in with some ideas to help us make this adventure hook. What do you think, Kate? I got a city. What's interesting or magical or adventurous about this city? What's going on there?
What if it was like a city for people that all have like the same kind of attribute, like a city for the deaf or something?
That's interesting. I know I did one a while ago about Medusas and the idea of a city full of, maybe it wasn't a city full of blind people, but it was something about like a Medusa being served by blind people or something like that. Like it might be kind of interesting to do something about, I know because in one of our previous campaigns, we had a city that was ruled by a Medusa. Because it's like kind of a weird resource. It's like an unlimited stone resource. A Medusa could just like look at anyone and they just turn to stone. So it's like, why mine anything? You just turn people into stone. So, so something like that's kind of cool. Like a city of the blind seems interesting. If it's something that has to do with like gaze attacks or monsters that do gaze attacks, like basilisks or Medusas or Bodaks or something. What do you guys think in the chat? What would be an interesting way to spice this up? So could it be a Medusa? Let me write this down. Medusa rules, but like she wouldn't be. So I like the city of the blind, right? I guess you could do city of the deaf, but I'm not sure what that would be, what that would entail, right? Like, why are they all deaf? Have they all come here because they're deaf? Or do they all go deaf simultaneously? Did something happen?
Like, that's kind of cool. Like, something triggered them all going deaf.
Do you think deaf is more interesting than blind?
Only because I know that we've done blind, but I don't think it's necessarily more interesting. Only because I've been a part of it.
Yeah, deaf doesn't get a lot of, like, deafness doesn't get a lot of play, I don't think, as a like blindness is always, it's like the blind warrior monk or the blind seer. Like, no one really talks about deafness very much. Maybe that's more interesting. So some kind of cataclysm strikes an entire city deaf. It's kind of cool. A thunderous cataclysm, like some kind of loud noise. A thunderous cataclysm. Okay. So chat. Now, how do you spell cataclysm? Clism? There we go. Strikes the city, the entire city of. So I need a name for this city. Name. Deaf. Oh, a mad bard involved. I like that. That's beautiful. Nice, Lex. Creepy. A mad bard casts a curse or plays a tune that strikes an entire city deaf.
Yeah, or if you listen to this Mad Bard's tune.
Anyone who hears. Yeah, but I kind of like it being like an event. Like they, I don't know if it was a male or female, did something like set up a ritual or whatever and like played a song and it all went out. As opposed to him just like walking around the town striking everybody deaf. Like it being like an instantaneous, like it happened overnight, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we need a name for this city. Strikes everyone in the city of every citizen. Because I want to get a little more chat involvement of the city of name deaf. So what is the name of this city, folks? You have a cool name for our deaf city. Is it a compound word? Is it like, something more mediocre like Green Harbor or something? Or is it in some ways prophetic? Does it have something to do with sound or, the city of elegy or something like that? What kind of ideas do you have in the chat? Let's think of this city name. I love that suggestion, Lex, about it being a bard. Very cool. Much more interesting than
whatever I was saying.
The blind thing I was going with. That's much cooler. I just like it too because what would that mean? Like everyone being blind, obviously just going to stumble around, but you could still basically get through. You can still see, you can still move, but you can't communicate with anyone, right? So no one can understand each other because they're not over time you'd be able to figure it out. You could write things down, I guess. Everyone in the town carries around chalk or parchment or something to communicate with each other. But then
they can't tell warning signs if they're being attacked or something
that's
like
beautiful.
that.
Right. Yeah. That's really cool.
It would just be such a quiet city.
I almost want to steal that idea and use it in my pirate campaign, like an island where everyone on the island is deaf. That's pretty fucking cool.
They just land there and they just hear someone screaming, but they don't know. No one else does.
No one is reacting. Someone is being horribly, brutally murdered, and they don't know what's happening. So what kind of name, guys? Kate, what kind of name should I give it? What do you think?
Listen, if no one says anything, it's going to be Anoka.
Anoka! No, it can't be Anoka. It has to be a fantasy version of Anoka. I won't accept. What's Anoka backwards?
Akona.
Akona. Okay. So we're going to give it a few minutes, and if you guys can't think of anything better than Akona. Will the city become totally deaf or can hear some things? Oh, that's kind of an interesting idea. I'm not sure how to communicate that in Brooke, you broke this shit wide open. What if the bard, I'm not sure how to communicate this. Maybe we lose the name. But what if the bard, makes everyone deaf to everything but their music, right? So it's no one listens to the bard. And so now the only thing they can hear is the playing of this bard, right? Because they were ignored. That gives a lot of interesting motivation to this villain. And then maybe killing the bard or defeating the bard in some way or outplaying them, Devil Went Down to Georgia style, breaks the curse. Okay, so what if we change it to a mad bard plays a tune that deafens an entire city to everything but their own music? Does that work?
Does it fit?
I'm not sure, but I think it will. Let me throw it in Twitter real quick. You killed that You guys, Lex and Brooke really brought that one to life. This is the thing that happens when I write these adventure hooks. This is maybe like the 6th list of 100 I've done. So like that's a lot of adventure hooks. So, like I'm getting to the end of my ideas, right? Like it might be interesting to do this again sometime and just sit down with the chat and just brainstorm like 50 is a lot, but like 25 of them or something like that, and just come up with a bunch of cool ones, right? Because I'm running out of ideas. Let me see if it fits.
I mean, we can swap again.
Oh yeah, I got plenty more room. But honestly though, sometimes doing a short one is good. So let's just do that. Let me see what number it's gonna be. It's gonna be 16. And then I'll have to take a picture and put it in there. All right, so I will schedule that for 5:30. Awesome, thanks so much, Jeff. That was brilliant. So it's, let me punch it into chat here. Yeah, a Mad Bard plays a tune that deafens an entire city. Don't just put in an entire city to everything but their own music. Yeah, you killed it. Nice work, chat. Awesome. Well, Kate, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about besides these last 5 names?
I don't.
10 names.
I don't.
You're tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we've been able to be cordial to each other on the call for this long.
I'm really drunk.
that explains it. Right?
So,
after that feud that we had. Remember our XP feud? We got in that horrible Twitter fight.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you're right. That's a good idea. Let's not. So we have about 9 more names left. We did really fast and we did really slow. I'm not sure how do we knock this out of the park, Kate?
Real sexy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Real gross Jabba the Hutt sexy.
Oh no, wait. I don't like this at all. Okay, do you want to start with your gross Jabba the Hutt sexy?
I do. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Me, you, me, you, me, you, me, you. No, I want to go second because I want to say the last one. Real.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, she'll like that.
Okay. So you want me to go first?
Yeah.
So okay, what is can you give me an example of what Jabba the Hutt sexy sounds like? Oh,
lots of tongue out. Lots of gross tongue out.
I don't know. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I have no dignity. All right, we just really want to send a big thank you out to Cranston.
Yeah.
I can only do sexy with my tongue out. You can't do it. It's impossible.
That's the point. It'd be too sexy if it was just sexy. Okay. Also, a huge thank you to Ben Jackson.
See, your tongue's not out, though. Your tongue's not sticking out. There you go. Okay. We want to give we really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the peerless donations and help of Yvette Bayman. Ew!
And a real sloppy thank you to Bethany McBorn.
Hey, Steve Bissonette. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Exploding dice. I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary Zantop. Big ups. Thanks for your donation.
You with the big ups all of a sudden.
I don't know why I like big ups a lot. We got one more.
Lastly, Jessica. Thank you.
There's kind of a vaguely fluffy space princess in there, right? A little bit of that. Listen to me.
Worse.
Thank you so much for donating to our Patreon. Like just a little bit. Yeah. Gross. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out to XP Weekly. I really appreciate it, even though it was just kind of a chill hangout today. We're just getting some of our business out of the way. We will be back next month, maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. We haven't decided. With some Junior Adventurers League. So we got 5 Sundays in July. So we're going to see. I don't know if we're going to run 5 adventures, but we'll give it a shot.
Also, in 2 weeks, I will be visiting Seattle. And be in the same city as Timothy. So, if you guys think of any crazy wild D&D shenanigans that we can do, let us know. I don't know.
We can shoot something. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But we'll be in the same city. So if you
will. Yeah. She's going to come play in the Pirates game, and we'll probably shoot some stuff, and it'll be fun. Yeah.
I like to play in that game because they're so schemy. I like to just be like, nah.
Yeah.
No consequences.
You have a very outlandish character in that game. Absolutely.
I ruin everything.
Super outlandish.
I love it.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming out. So if you're interested in getting the lost episode, feel free to give us a donation or up your donation on Patreon. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye. See you.